Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today's theme is passion and compassion. And I'm sure we're all well aware of those two very, very strong emotions. Compassion, on one end, and passion, so totally different, but yet with that strength that comes within, and so much so with the power that it can change a circumstance with that significant power. When one feels compassion for someone, it usually creates a feeling that arises from within, and it motivates us to want to relieve the suffering for someone else. It's usually someone, if someone is going through a very difficult time, hurts, sufferings, anything like that. And while it drives us to come to, or want to come to their aid, that is part of the reaction. And it is a wonderful virtue to have that compassion for people, to be able to step out and say, I want to lend a helping hand and so forth. But with that being said, we also need to be aware and be mindful when compassionate, because one of the important things in life, and part of this whole talk is what I wanted to refer to is getting to know thyself. Because what happens is when we want to help someone, we definitely want to help them out of a certain situation, but we do not want to jump into that hole. We want to give them the ladder to climb out of that hole. Give them the tools that they may need, the guidance that they need, the support that they may seek. And sometimes it may not be as easy to be compassionate because there's different types of situations that brings that compassion within us. And by this, I have some examples with respect to some of you may be parents, mothers, you're wanting to right away pull somebody out of a situation, your child is in a situation and you want to help. It is good, but it's also good to let them be able to work it out. You provide the guidance, you provide the direction, you provide that support. And in the same respect, when we want to help others who are not as fortunate as we may be, same holds true. It could be something that they're paying a debt, which is related to karma. And to help them get past that, we don't jump in just getting into their situation. We try to assist in the best way possible. All of that really lies within us in what I'm talking about, knowing thyself. We need to have that ability to be able to, at one time or another, really think about what the situation may be, how we can be compassionate to that one person or people, whatever may be the issue. And in getting to know thyself, you really start touching and being really close to that vibrational energy that allows you to understand what it is that you should be doing at that time. And like I said, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes being compassionate also gives situations where you might have to make a decision that is not the most favorable one for someone else. But that is being compassionate if you are really attempting to help someone. Now, on the other hand, when we talk about passion, now passion gives us more of a positive thought, and we really very often relate to passion with respect to desire, to love, to romance. When we talk about passion, I mean, that's almost like the first thing that comes to mind. And that is very true. It is very much associated to that. But again, with that understanding and that knowing, even with that, we still need to take action. If it is a romance, if it is a love, if it is that type of passion, it's such a beautiful feeling within. But it still continues to require the action to keep that alive, to keep that going. You don't just, I'm in a passionate mode and then that's it. It's passion is a process in a sense. And with passion, the definition that I really came up with or looked up actually was, passion is defined as a strong and barely controllable emotion. And passion also sometimes is related to suffering. Perhaps not in a bad way, but in challenges or something like this, because if we're talking about different types of passion, for example, athletes, if they're passionate about their goal, they're going to go through some challenges, physical challenges. That's suffering and pain, regardless of what it is that they're trying to achieve. Artists, musicians, they go through some challenges, but it's their passion that drives them and keeps them driving them forward. And that's again, the beauty of it. With knowing thyself, this is what we talk about, being aware of our thoughts, words, and actions. Because every day, every minute, we create our own lives through our thoughts, through our words, through our actions, but our imagination, we create it every day. And however we direct it is the way is how we're creating it. So it's very, very important to always be mindful of our thoughts, words, and actions. If you have a passion and you know what that passion is, excuse me, my mouth is very dry. If you have a passion and you know what that passion is and you know what you're pursuing and you want to continue going forward, again, being thoughtful of your thoughts, words, and actions is one part of it, but also seeking and being aware of the people, places, and things that support your passion. Because sometimes we may have an idea, we may have a passion that we would like to fulfill. It's a goal, a personal goal that we want to achieve, and we're excited about it, and we're passionate about what we want to do, what we want to achieve. And you go somewhere, or you go with someone who just, wipes it out of you. So again, that's part of the awareness. That's part of getting to know thyself, and being aware of what it is that what we're doing. When we talk about, I don't know if you've ever heard rockets of desire. That is passion. The rockets of desire. I would love to do this. I'd love to do this when I grow up. I'd love to do this later on in life. When I have a moment, I would love to do that. That's part of the important piece of being able to direct those rockets of desire. Where do we want those rockets of desire to go? What do we want to achieve with our passion? What do we want to bring to life? Is it just things? Is it just personal achievement? What is it? One of the biggest passions that I've really started to understand is with myself. And that's why I do bring to light getting to know thyself. Because very often we live life. We just live life, whatever life brings, and we just live it. But when you live life with intention, and you know where you want to go, and you know where you want to be, it really creates a different way of seeing things. And when you start seeing the results, that's the beauty of it, because it is just so wonderful. I'd like to remind you, and I think we all know, God is always within us. We are never separated from God. So God is always within us. And with that, our heart is a very, very powerful God center. So when we want something, when we want a desire to achieve a goal, to achieve something that we would like to, that we're pursuing, talk to God. And some of the steps that I do bring forward, just if anyone would like to take into consideration, take the time, make the time to meditate and talk to God through your heart, through your mind, because God is within, God is listening. Planning and reflecting with God, all things are possible. Anything that you would like to achieve, you can, but it's all within you to do that. Express what it is that you truly want in your heart. What are you willing to work for? Because what it is that we would like to achieve, we also need to take action. It's not just something that we just want to imagine and sit back and let it happen. It also requires action, the steps that we need to take, whatever it is that we need to do. But that's part of the process. Make a list of your desires. Then take the time to focus on those desires if you wish. As you make the list, you're planting your seeds. Go ahead and make the list, date your list, and also, if you're going to be working on short-term goals or long-term goals, date those lists. If you wish to accomplish something in 3 months, 6 months, and time does not matter, but that's something for you to look at. And as you date the list, you start seeing how things start moving in that respect. It's like a vacuum. It starts rolling and you start seeing it, and that just brings more passion about what it is that you would like to achieve, that you would like to attain. As I mentioned before, always be mindful of your thoughts, words, and actions. And seek the people, places, and things that support your desire. Again, sometimes you may walk into a place and you feel the vibration, and that vibration doesn't really align with yours. Then you need to listen to your intuition, because that's not being supportive of what it is that you're aligning yourself with. So that is something to always be mindful of. You can also activate the 12th power of zeal. Sometimes when we're working on different things and our energy is sort of, going downstream, just, work on zeal. And zeal is actually located in the stem of the medulla. Guide it with your thoughts and understanding, faith, and imagination. You will start getting results. You will see. You will immediately start seeing things. Energy is actually zeal in motion. When one desires, zeal pushes understanding, imagination, and faith into action. So, one of the things that I wanted to bring up again with respect to knowing thyself, when taking time to meditate or just thinking about this, knowing thyself, who I am, what I am, where I am, when I am, and why I am. When you stop to think about all those little questions that we ask, it really starts bringing things to the forefront, and you start looking at your life differently as well. And where you're at is okay. It's where you're supposed to be. That's where your starting point is, and that's okay. But just making that awareness, making that step is really, really important. And then with respect to compassion, it is wonderful. It is a beautiful virtue to be compassionate. We are all here on this earth plane because we are here to learn, to grow, to develop. And as we continue developing, we're sharing of ourselves, we're sharing of our energy, and that is part of being compassionate as well. But we cannot be, compassionate if we, like I said, jump into the hole. If we pull somebody out, they remember that. And they're always grateful for that. And they learn, and then they're able to assist somebody else. So it's like playing it forward. As we learn, we teach, and we grow, and we keep on going. And that's part of the compassion that we share within this earth plane. That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. It's all part of our growth process. And with respect to passion, ignite that passion within you. Let those rockets of desire go. Light those rockets. Light them, but guide them. Make sure you know where you want them to go. What is it that you want to achieve? You're not just going to light up, like firecrackers and let them go all over the place. But just, light them and direct them and coordinate it and just watch that beauty of that rocket go wherever it is that you want it to go and whatever it is that you want to achieve. Ignite that zeal within you. Ignite the zeal of living and go forward. And I leave you with those words. Namaste.
Thank you, Rev Sylvia. That was beautiful. So now's the time for our love offering. And let's put it between our hands and give it a blessing before we do. Mother, Father God, as we hold between our hands that which you have ignited, we give to the source that what you have given to put into the work and love for those we meet on our path of unfoldment, and for the functioning of this abode you have placed in our hands and put into effect the law of tenfold return to those who give freely and from the heart. Amen. I forgot to turn this off.